Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel T-Spot. In this video, Carina spent the night at their home. She slept in the same bed as her wife. Carina didn't go over there for that reason, so they didn't do anything and Maya just consoled her. Carina had a challenging day. She still considers Maya to be her safe haven since she needed to feel secure. She coming over was a good indication for their marriage. That indicated that they had hope. Maya was feeling more optimistic about how things were going between them. Even if they weren't currently reuniting, Maya was aware that she still needed to work on herself, which she is doing by continuing her counseling. Even so, she was moving very quickly. Maya had once more been denied the captain's position. She refused to let that affect her. She understood her lack of success. As she tried to extort Fire Chief Ross, she severed a lot of relationships. Although it might have happened a few months ago, Ross no longer believes she is prepared for a leadership role. Captain Beckett's replacement needed to be named, and Ross never once gave Maya any thought. She made an attempt to give Andy the job. Only Andy declined it. Andy believed that Sullivan ought to be hired because he was now on the mend. He has taken steps to demonstrate that he was prepared for another opportunity at leadership. He also shouldn't have been reduced all the way down to a rookie due to his addiction issues, something with which Ross concurred. When she assumed charge, Ross promoted Sullivan back to lieutenant. She was just not going to reinstate him as captain. She tried to do that but restrained herself. She was privately seeing Sullivan, but she didn't want to appear biased if anyone ever found out. Ross was guarding against harm. Sullivan perceived it as her putting the relationship above herself because Sullivan believed he had seniority over Theo and was named the new captain before Theo. Sullivan also felt extremely humiliated. Theo formerly served as a captain, favor him. The difference was that Theo didn't feel prepared for a leadership position, so he actively declined the post in order to demote himself. Because someone died while under Theo's watch, he did it. After losing his two best friends, he felt terrible because that firefighter was a friend, and as a result, he lost himself. Theo had improved. He felt confident in his abilities since he reasoned that at the very least, he could perform the task better than Beckett. Theo was still concerned, though. He feared losing yet another individual. Now that he was being driven by fear, his leadership consisted of his checking with everyone twice and 3 times. He'd even went so far as to prevent them from performing their actual jobs in an effort to protect them. Firefighters were they. When they noticed that the Neely house was becoming unstable, they knew how to stabilize the structure. Station 19 was summoned to a residence. No fire could be found. Only demolition was done, not illegal, expert demolition with permits. The Neely brothers were there. After their mother passed away, they received the house as her heirs. A contractor for renovations was wanted by one. The other person thought he could do it all himself. The DIY guy made the decision to resolve things on his own because the brothers were also fighting about everything. He started knocking down walls. He lacked the knowledge to identify which walls were low-bearing. At that point, he was merely demolishing stuff to avenge his brother. A neighbor reported seeing smoke, so she dialed 911, not her. She was merely attempting to stop the construction because she believed it to be a loud nuisance and perhaps because the police weren't returning her calls. In any case, it became SFD's issue. Vic and Jack entered the residence. They attempted to persuade the sledgehammer-wielding sibling to refrain from demolishing any more walls because they could already see cracks appearing. They were anxious. If his brother hadn't shown up, they would have succeeded in convincing the brother to listen to them. The brothers fought each other. It became so terrible that they began exchanging blows as they were yelling and tearing down walls. They were separated by Vic and Jack when the walls abruptly started to crumble. Both brothers suffered wounds. They were saved by the firefighters, and it was Sullivan who prevented the rest of the home from collapsing on top of them. Theo was informed by Sullivan that they were firefighters. They had the ability to maintain the structure so that their people could leave. The 4 occupants of the house were saved because Theo made the decision to follow Sullivan's advice. Theo now understands that changing his identity from Beckett alone is not enough. While actively participating with his squad, he can still keep everyone safe. Theo was a captain who was prepared to lower himself. It's unfortunate that not everyone was able to view it. Montgomery was granted permission to remain at the fire station so that he could prepare for a mayoral debate. Also, he needed a strategy for defeating Dixon. Dixon ran a campaign against him. He essentially charged Montgomery with being a drug, sex, and alcohol addict. Also, he tossed in his desire to raise taxes. The campaign manager for Montgomery wanted to respond. He only took a different path. Later, when he saw exposed wire and requested tape to cover it, he made the decision to carry out his responsibility and ensuring everyone's safety, and that developed into a fantastic soundbite, which Montgomery celebrated by having a sexual encounter with Lee later. Ben was off that day. He made the decision to examine a purported women's health center with his wife. The clinic claimed to serve women and shared the same name as Bailey's clinic, but it wasn't run by medical professionals. It was administered by individuals who went above and above to persuade ladies to carry their pregnancies because the congressman was paying them to advance a cause. Thus, Bailey, Ben, and Carina were the ones picketing this fake clinic this time. During the discussion, Dixon made the decision to exact retribution by giving Maya pictures of Ross having a sexual encounter with Sullivan. Maya has two options. She can try to get her job back or keep improving herself. Vic was also upset with Theo because she thought he took all the credit when they started an inquiry into an arson. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.